you put a tweet out about the pandering and posturing that companies are doing in the West versus what they're doing in the Middle East. What did you learn there?
Yeah, so I mean, I thought it was quite interesting because you can tell whether a belief is genuine by what people are willing to sacrifice for it. And corporations love to appear compassionate by claiming to stand for Black Lives Matter or gay pride or trans rights. But they only openly support these rights in countries in which they're already popular. They're not willing to risk or sacrifice anything for their professed beliefs. And the reason for this is that their beliefs are just a charade. So really the point here is just that words are cheap, so if you really want to know if a person's principles are genuine, see what it actually costs them. If it's cost them something, then it's probably a genuine belief. But if it's cost them nothing, then it's just noise. And we see a lot of that today, in this kind of image-oriented age in which we live, where corporations feel the need to be part of the conversation and they're constantly putting out these opinions that they think are going to be popular. But it's just a show, So I just wanted to draw attention to that.
We see so much. June 1st is like the Twitter profile update photo collage deployment waterfall thing where Cisco, Mercedes, Lenovo, BMW, Bethesda, Visa, BP, and millions others that we probably haven't got screenshots of have decided to have their central account with the colors of the rainbow. We're supporting Pride. We're in support of gay people around the world. And then the Middle East version hasn't been updated at all. I was trying to come up with a name for it, and I was thinking of something like equality shadowboxing, because that's kind of like what they're doing. They're fighting in an arena where the concept's already been won. Corporations support Pride in the West, where it's widely accepted, but not in the East, because their activism is not motivated by principles, but by public relations. So fighting where the battle's already been won and not fighting for equality where it's needed.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, if I had to use a word to describe it, I would just call it pandering, really, a nice simple word, because that's essentially what it is. They're looking at their target audience and they're seeing, what does this audience want? And at the moment, corporations really want to pull in the sort of TikTok teens because they want to get people when they're young. They want to establish, brand loyalty to these kids when they're young so that they'll sort of stay with them for life. And so the TikTok generation is kind of quite infamous for being quite woke and, into all this kind of like sort of social justice posturing. And as a result of that, I think that's why they've chosen this route. They've chosen to go towards the more kind of, social justice-y kind of thing. You don't really see corporations sort of being based, being, sort of pro sort of Trump or whatever, I mean, you've got Elon Musk, who's a very rare exception. He's kind of gone towards the base route. But I think that's him as an individual. Tesla's not doing that. Tesla's sort of still quite on the left sort of politically.
I think they're probably desperately trying to hold on to whatever acceptable face that they can and working their way kind of around Elon as this. He's a bit of a force to be reckoned with on his own. But yeah, I mean, we see this with body positivity, websites that are using plus-sized girls, and some use plus-sized guys. But for the most part, you don't ever see skinny, fat guys, right? That are pale, that look like they spend a ton of time in VR. Okay, so it's not about bodies of all sizes and making everybody feel represented. It's about pushing a narrative that drives more clicks and means that you can say, we are part of the virtuous crowd. You do not need to look here. Over there, those are the people that aren't doing it. I mean, you see it with the different races that are used as well. A lot of them, ASOS is really bad for this. Tons and tons of their models are now mixed race guys that have got neck tattoos, but there's no Asians. There's basically no Asians on that site. And you go, well, okay, like, what is it that you're doing? It's split testing something that mediates between, we need to be able to show variety and signal virtue, and we still need to drive clicks. So all of that's been split tested as well. If fat Asian lads were selling more ASOS clothes, do you not think that they would be using it?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I don't see a problem with sort of diversifying sort of models and things like that. I think it's okay, but I think the issue begins when there's when it's basically sort of done performatively. And an example of this is I think there's this, I don't really watch Star Wars, so I don't know much about it, but I saw this tweet recently in which the Star Wars official account basically posted their new actress who's going to be like a main star of one of their upcoming shows or something. I don't really know what it is, but it was a black woman, and the tweet was essentially saying like, this is our new star. She's a black woman. She's a strong, independent black woman, and they were really like highlighting the fact that she's black, you know. And they were like, you know, if you have a problem with her, then we don't want you to be one of our fans. And all this. You know, it was a very sort of confrontational tweet. And I was like, I don't understand the point in it, because if you look at the old Star Wars, I mean, I haven't really seen much of it, but I remember the originals. And there's that Lando Calrissian is a black guy. There's no mention is made of this guy being a black guy, because it doesn't need to be made. The point doesn't need to be made that he's a black guy. It doesn't matter that he's a black guy. So people didn't have a problem with that. And it's when they start forcefully saying, you know, this is our main star and this is a black guy or a black woman, and you will enjoy it or you will, you know, suffer the consequences.
Perish.
Sort of thing. Yeah. I think it's a very aggressive kind of thing that I think turns a lot of people off, but it also turns a lot of people on, unfortunately, as well, which is why they do it.
Can you imagine if we make it all the way to whatever year Star Wars is set in, and we've got lightsabers and laser guns and we can travel super, super fast around the universe, and yet still the most important thing about somebody is their skin color? I honestly think, just bring on the Death Star, man. Fucking send us all to the ends of hell, because I don't want to live in that future. What's happening, people? If you enjoyed that, then press here for the full unedited episode. And don't forget to subscribe. Peace.